for him, of course, having only just come back from a very long period out with a cruciate injury. So Manchester United have got us underway, and they are attacking the Stretford end in this second half. Maguire gives the ball away instantly to Dominic Solanke, running towards the area, gets into the box, he's trying to ride a couple of challenges, and Josh King tries to win it back with his back to goal, tees it up for the shot from Lewis Cook at the edge of the... Gets into the box, he's trying to ride a couple of challenges, and Josh King tries to win it back with his back to goal, tees it up for the shot from Lewis Cook at the edge of the area, blocked by De Gea, and then Stanislas from a tight angle again, hits the post this time, and United escape.
Well, David De Gea is waving his arms up at the linesman there. There's no way there's an offside. I don't know if he's checking for a foul. Harry Maguire comes out for the second half, scrappy ball, puts Bournemouth straight on the front foot. Stanislas showing some good quality, but finds himself in that same area, Dance, aiming for that near post. It might have been a little bit more of a tighter angle this time, but it still gets past David De Gea. Make yourself big in that goal, make it difficult to curl it round him, because it's the only way you can put the ball. But at the moment, I mean, Man United haven't come out in the second half as of yet.
There's a handball for Bournemouth. I think they've been given a... Have they been given a penalty or a free kick? I think they've been given a penalty here by Mike Dean. Eric Bailly was set a horrible ball back to him by Nemanja Matic, and he put his elbow up. Mike Dean's indicating that Bailly, his first involvement in the game was to handle the ball. He was given a dreadful back pass. This after that passage of play where the ball hit the post from Junior Stanislas. But as the ball came back out, Matic tried to give the ball back to his centre half, and he had an absolute mare with it. Caught his elbow, spotted by the referee, and he's blown for the foul, and he's blown for the penalty by the looks of it. Or is it a free kick? He hasn't pointed.
Well, the Bournemouth players,
in the centre of the half.
Bournemouth players are just standing on the edge of the 18-yard area, Dan. So I don't know if it's a free kick. I mean, it was Mike Dean straight away. He pointed, and he's saying that it came off Eric Bailly's arm.
They're checking for VAR to where the handball took place.
Well, it's a penalty.
Well, he's in the air. We're looking at a picture of it now on our monitor. The ball is absolutely parallel to the 18-yard line as it strikes the arm of Eric Bailly. It's on the line. If you drew a line from the ball down to the pitch, it would actually touch the 18-yard line. Now, does that class as a penalty or a free kick? The VAR back at Stockley Park is working through it, and Mike Dean is pacing around on the far side of the field, waiting for a decision to be made. It's Lee Mason who's the
it was
VAR
Mike Dean
official
straight away. He pointed,
Park.
And he's saying that it came off Eric.
And Mike Dean is waiting for instruction. But the ball definitely struck the arm. That much is true, Mickey Gray.
No, there's no doubt about it. It's definitely hit Eric Bailly's arm. He's tried to bring it down with his chest. He's got his angles completely wrong. It's touched the inside of his bicep. And for me, that 18-yard line, which is in play, it's got to be a penalty. Mike Dean has he's pointed to the spot.
He has pointed to the spot. It is a penalty to Bournemouth after all. That VAR has determined it was handball and it was inside the box. And so Josh King has the chance to bring Bournemouth back within one of Manchester United in these early stages of the second half. It's taken a good 90 seconds to clear that up, but the penalty will now be taken away to our right-hand side. King, who scored the winner against Manchester United for Bournemouth in the reverse fixture last year, steps up against De Gea and he scores. It is Manchester United 3, Bournemouth 2. Bailly handles the ball. It's given by VAR as a penalty, and King slams the penalty home. Manchester United 3, Bournemouth 2.
All that Bournemouth deserved for the approach in this second half. They came out, they took the game to Manchester United, they made things happen for themselves. Eric Bailly just came onto the field. Can't even give him the excuse of warming up to get into the football match, because that's just sloppy. You know, putting your arm in the way of it when there's no pressure on him whatsoever. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Bournemouth now have got an opportunity of getting themselves back into this game. Super finish from Josh King. Two good penalties we've seen this afternoon.
And Adrian Durham has his 5th goal for his charity bet. It's all good this afternoon on Game Day on TalkSport. Another goal at Ewood Park in the Championship early on in the second half. Don McGuinness.
Well, it's a bit interesting. Rovers 1, Leeds United 2. Those first half goals, Bamford and a brilliant Phillips free kick. Well, Armstrong's done almost as good in terms of a free kick that's put Rovers right back in it. Armstrong with a goal. Rovers 1, Leeds United 2.
And there's been a goal in the TalkSport 2 commentary at the King Power Stadium. Here's how it sounded with Joe Shannon.
As Perez comes forward for Leicester, sets up Tielemans for number 8, low ball in, Iheanacho goes in and scores! and Leicester City lead, and it's 2-2 for Kelechi Iheanacho, and they finally have the breakthrough.
So Leicester ahead then against Crystal Palace. Here on TalkSport, Manchester United coming forward ominously with Bruno Fernandes, who hooked the ball in when it looked for all the world it was going out. Rashford couldn't connect, and suddenly it's 3-on-3 for Bournemouth as they come forward. Josh King feeds Stanislas inside the area. Offside flag goes up to deny. It was Danjuma who got the ball in the back of the net, but the flag had gone up for offside. Suddenly it was 3-on-3 for Bournemouth as they strode forward, and Danjuma poked the ball past De Gea, but the flag went up for offside. Eddie Howe has his hands on the back of his head in disbelief. It stays Manchester United 3, Bournemouth 2.
Well, it's a lifeline again. Bournemouth breaking forward. They've got a 3-on-3 situation. He has drifted into an offside position, Danjuma. Super finish with the outside, or even a toe punt with his right foot. Eddie Howe, hands on head. He's asked the question of his players at half-time, do you actually want to stay in the Premier League? Do you want to get something out of this match? Well, they've come out, they've taken the game to Manchester United, they've got the game back to 3-2, another opportunity. Manchester United made that change at half-time. Eric Bailly's come onto the field. He's not got going yet.
Let's run you through the lineups. We've got a chance to do that. 6 minutes gone in the second half. De Gea in goal for Manchester United. It's now Wan-Bissaka, Bailly, Maguire and Shaw at the back. Pogba and Matic in front of them. Greenwood, Fernandes and Rashford behind Martial. And the rejigged Bournemouth lineup: Ramsdale in goal, Smith, Ake, Kelly and Rico the back four, and then Danjuma, Lerma, Lewis Cook and Stanislas in midfield, King and Solanke up front. We played nearly 7 minutes of the second half on TalkSport Game Day. Manchester United 3, Bournemouth 2. An early second half penalty from Josh King getting Bournemouth back into the contest. When at half-time all seemed lost, there was a member of Bournemouth's ancillary staff sat away to my left who had his head in his hands for about 5 minutes, sat there whilst you and Adrian were summing up the first half.
Well, it needed summing up, Dance, didn't it?
He might have been listening to your summing up, to be fair. That's what prompted it, but
yeah,
you never know. Anyway, here's Luke Shaw down the left-hand side for Manchester United. Keeps the ball away from Stanislas, who's now playing on the right-hand side with Danjuma on the left for the Cherries. Matic trying to roll the ball into Martial at the edge of the D. Bournemouth get the ball away. Might drop for Josh King. King loses out to Pogba. Pogba rides the challenge of Lewis Cook. Shaw, neat ball through to Bruno Fernandes. Out to the left-hand side, and Rashford gives it back to Fernandes in the left wing. Level with the area. Lovely interchange of passing between Bruno Fernandes and Rashford. And now Fernandes rolls it in field just as accurately to Nemanja Matic. He gives it back to the Manchester United number 18. Shaw on the overlap down the left-hand side. First time cross deflected up in the air by Adam Smith. Taken by Martial at the edge of the area. Tries to roll a couple of challenges. Rashford runs into Ake, and Bournemouth, all hands to the pump, only get it half clear. It's Greenwood getting it back. Right-hand side of the area. Tries to drive on, and another sensational goal from Mason Greenwood. This time on his right foot. Drifted away from Diego Rico and smacked a right-footed effort right into the postage stamp beyond Ramsdale. Manchester United restore their 2-goal advantage with another beauty. Mason Greenwood makes it Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 2.
Well, he's just come on a screen in front of him with a big grin on his face. I mean, what can this kid not do? You know, he scores a great goal in the first half with his left foot, makes it himself, touch out of his feet, wonderful strike. It's bouncing around the ball in the area. Bournemouth don't really clear their lines. It comes out to Greenwood. He's got a lot to do. Couple of touches with his left foot and his right foot. And it's just naturally, he's a natural goal scorer. I mean, he doesn't really have to think about it. He knows where the goal is. He gets his laces through it with his right foot this time. What a finish. I mean, this kid's a superstar in the making.
Again, I'll give Ramsdale a bit of credit. He got fingertips to it, but couldn't keep it out. Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 2. A brace for Mason Greenwood, and another goal at Ewood Park in the Championship. TalkSport's Don McGuinness.
Well, just as Rovers had got back in it, Leeds extend the lead once more. It's now Rovers 1, Leeds 3. Click with the long-range effort. Took a deflection on the way in as well. The flag stayed down. Rovers 1, Leeds 3.
So 10 minutes gone in the second half. We were just waiting for the restart here at Old Trafford. Mike Dean blows his whistle, and Bournemouth have it all to do again. They've got themselves back into the contest with that King penalty, but Greenwood has made it 4-2. The ball flicked in field from Josh King, and Pogba wins it back, and that should settle Manchester United down again, Mickey Gray.
Stans, it's not very often that I get out of my seat and stand and applaud a player. He's a young lad, he's still learning his trade, but what a place to learn your football. And I think a lot of credit has to go to somebody like Odegaard or Solskjaer. Manchester United have got a track record of giving youngsters an opportunity. I think it's over 4,000 games that a youngster from the academies broke through and actually got their chance. But there's some special players that turn up once in a while, and this kid's got it all for me. He knows how to play the game. He's settled into first team football like he's been doing it for years and years. But he's just a super finisher. I mean, left foot, right foot. You try and show him onto his weaker foot if I think he has got one, and then he goes and does that and sticks another one in the top corner. It's just an outstanding finish from a great young player.
Last time I saw you stand up and applaud was when I walked in at Burnley, when I hadn't seen you for a few months. Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 2, 10 minutes gone in the second half. A reminder of our charity bet winnings with Betfair, the official partner of Talk Sports Premier League coverage. So we went for over 4.5 goals. I say we, I should specifically mention Adrian. We've had 6 here, so that's £480 that we've raised for the Bobby Moore Fund with our friends at Betfair. Manchester United in possession with Harry Maguire, just shy of the halfway line.
Stance, am I a little bit early in saying that, you know, he's making a claim for that Euro squad next year?
Why not?
Why not? Talking about Phil Foden, aren't they?
Quite, and Foden's getting plenty of pitch time and showing what he can do at the moment. Ditto Mason Greenwood. Yes, he's 18, but how old was Michael Owen when he was given his chance? Here's Martial inside the area now for Manchester United, pulling it back into an area, hoping that Bruno Fernandes could run onto it. It's only half cleared by Bournemouth, laid off by Rashford to Pogba, who tries a drive, smacks into the backside of Ake, and away for Bournemouth just for the time being. Manchester United have it back. Maguire kind of sucks Josh King in, and Solanke gets past both of them, glides forward Harry Maguire, as he likes to do so often, but then touches it back in field for Pogba. A run being made by Martial, comes infield to pick it up, gets to the edge of the area, tries to nutmeg his man, couldn't get past Kelly, and Solanke gets past both of them, glides forward Harry Maguire, as he likes to do so often, but then touches it back in field for Pogba. A run being made by Martial, comes infield to pick it up, gets to the edge of the area, tries to nutmeg his man, couldn't get past Kelly, but it's one back for Manchester United by Wan-Bissaka. Now Bruno Fernandes into the feet of Martial again. Kelly gets in front of him and fouls him, according to Mike Dean, and Manchester United have a free kick right at the edge of the area as they attack the Stretford end. 4-2 up on TalkSport Game Day.
This game's gone back to type. It's Bournemouth getting everybody behind the ball, and it looks as if they're just waiting for Manchester United to take a strike on goal. Super finish from Greenwood to get that 4th goal for Man United, and they needed it. 1 goal deficit wasn't enough in this game. It's so open. But Bournemouth, you know, you talk about that confidence, they got themselves back into it in the first couple of minutes in the second half. But as soon as Manchester United just turned the screw and went up the gears, they got that 4th goal. They'll be trying to add to that dance because there's so many opportunities going to happen in this second 45 minutes.
We'll be off to Kenilworth Road in a moment, but there's a free kick to Manchester United here at the edge of the area first of all, that Bruno Fernandes is just pacing back from. Pogba's there too. It's just inside the D to the right of centre, and the Bournemouth wall, there's at least 5 in there, possibly 6, are 2 yards in front of the 6-yard line. Ramsdale waits right in the centre of his goal, just in front of the goal line. Will it be Fernandes or Pogba to strike it for Manchester United? It is Fernandes, straight through the wall and in. Wow. 5-2, Fernandes at it again. Another brilliant strike from this man who's made such a difference to Manchester United since coming in January. Bruno Fernandes, who scored 2 at Brighton, scores another one here, and it's now Manchester United 5, Bournemouth 2.
Well, don't give this young man an opportunity of a sight on goal, because he knows where the back of the net is. Bruno Fernandes, what a difference he's made to this Manchester United team. Silly challenge from Lloyd Kelly initially to give a foul on Martial just on the edge of the 18-yard box, and he had a sight of the goal there, Fernandes. It was either going to be him or Pogba who was going to take it. It was a couple of little steps, picked his spot, enough pace on it to find that corner, and again he's just give Ramsdale absolutely no chance. I mean, he's a special talent, Fernandes. We can talk about individual players who've made the difference at Manchester United, but since he walked into this football club, I think he's unbeaten, Dance, isn't he, since he's put a Manchester United shirt on. Is that 7 goals, 3-4 assists? What a player.
Yeah, well, 6 in the Premier League in terms of goals, 3 Premier League assists. £47 million well spent. you would say.
And then on the other hand, look, you can sing the praises of Manchester United. Are they good enough to make a challenge for the Premier League next season? I still think they're a couple of players short. I do think they need a top-class centre-half to play alongside Maguire. Maybe another forward player, but as Mason Greenwood, we were just talking there before, as he saved them £75 million, there's been talk about Jadon Sancho coming here. Well, they're going to have to chop and change the players if that's what's going to happen. Bournemouth, on the other hand, I look for players when they're at the bottom of the table, and I look for a little bit of fight. Yes, they showed it in the first 10 or 15 minutes in the first half, in a couple of minutes in the second half, but other than that, you can see it in players. They're waiting for Manchester United to create opportunities, and they're praying that they don't find at the back of the net. Well, they found it 5 times already, Dan. So, well, we've got another half an hour plus a little bit of added time at the end of that as well. This could be anything this afternoon. It really could.
Ian Danter and Mickey Gray with you on TalkSport. Got our names right that time. Goes behind for a corner kick to Bournemouth. The goal at Kenilworth Road. Kate Partridge.
Yes, it's Luton 0, Reading 4. It came in the 56th minute, and it was George Puskas who finally headed home after a ball was sent in from the right-hand side of the box, looping around. Nobody cleared it from Luton's defence. Puskas headed home. Luton 0, Reading 4.
Bournemouth's corner away to our right-hand side to be taken by Diego Rico. They trail Manchester United 5-2 here now. Deep to the far post. Ake wanted to get his head on it, but it was nodded out by Maguire. Only as far as Stanislas and Danjuma out on that left-hand side. Now Ake chasing after it down the left-hand side of the box, but Bai, who gave away that penalty very early in the second half, with some more traditional defending to hook it clear for a Bournemouth throw.
He'll be a little bit relieved, Eric Bai, because he didn't come out and he didn't set the world alight. It was scrappy defending from him, then he gives the penalty away. Then you're thinking to yourself, oh, right, is this going to be my afternoon? I've been given my opportunity again. I've got 45 minutes to prove to the manager that I'm good enough to be a part of this squad. But he has started to settle down a little bit now, doing the things that defenders should do. You know, head it and kick it, clear your lines. When you've got the opportunity to play out, then you do it.
Double change for Bournemouth coming up shortly on TalkSport's Game Day, and Fred will be on shortly for Manchester United as well. But the Cherries have possession with Stanislas on this near side, the right. Knocks it infield to Jefferson Lerma, tries to clip it down the right-hand side of the box, but nobody had anticipated that. Not Adam Smith, not Solanke, and it just dribbles behind for a Manchester United goal kick. And so the double change coming up for Bournemouth. In fact, it's a triple change, forgive me, because Philip Billings just emerged as well as Dan Gosling and Harry Wilson, who are going to be introduced by Eddie Howe. Billing, who didn't have the best of games against Newcastle, was taken off at half-time in that game at the Vitality in midweek. Manchester United have taken the goal kick, but from the wrong place. Another goal at Kenilworth Road. Kate Partridge.
Yes, it's now Luton 0, Reading 5. It's that man Matey again, his 4th goal of the afternoon. Another defensive mistake by Luton allowed him to run clear, and he slotted home beyond Sluga. Luton 0, Reading 5.
Well, I wouldn't have seen that coming from Luton, the way they played against Leeds United in the week when they got a 1-1 draw. Faker Others is on air at about 5 o'clock. She'll be in a good mood. It's currently 5-2 to Manchester United here at Old Trafford. For the latest odds, head to the Betfair Exchange, the official partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Manchester United to win the game at 1.01. If you fancy Bournemouth to come back and score 4 without reply, that's 380, and the draw is at 65. That's all thanks to the Betfair Exchange. More ways to bet, more ways to win. 18 plus, begambleaware.org. 5-2 here, second goal of the afternoon at Griffin Park in the Championship. TalkSport's Ian Abrahams.
Probably all over now. 12 minutes of the second half gone. Brentford 2, Wigan 0. Saeed Benrahma has his second. If it's a shot, it's outstanding and fantastic. If it's a cross, he's got lucky. I feel he might tell me it was the first of those two. It was way out on the left-hand side, curled beyond the goalkeeper Marshall into the back of the net. Brilliant by Benrahma. His second of the game, 51st of the season for the BMW. Brentford 2, Wigan 0.
Solanke sends the ball out to the Bournemouth left for Danjuma, who's looking to isolate Wan-Bissaka here. Level with the edge of the United box. He's now been helped out by Mason Greenwood on a hat-trick, remember, who's now scampering forward into the Bournemouth half, plays the ball in field perfectly for Pogba. Pogba plays a 1-2 with Martial. Wan-Bissaka and acres of space on the right-hand side. First time cross, looking for Rashford.
Oh, wow.
What an amazing team goal from Manchester United, but the offside flag denies it. Rashford had put the ball into the net from close range, and just as Mickey Gray was getting up for a standing ovation once again, The linesman's flag rules out a Manchester United 6.
I'm sorry if he keeps standing up. I just love seeing great football. I mean, what a move. Mason Greenwood working so hard, helping out Wan-Bissaka, wins the ball back, drives 60 yards into the opposition's half. They eventually work it out to the right-hand side. Great ball into the area. Rashford keeps his run going. Super finish. And unfortunately, and it's very close as well, Dance. I mean, I think, what is it, a toe? Oh, we're talking about toes again here, being offside. But it's so close. I do think he is going to be called offside here. They are checking it with the VAR. But that would have been a super goal. I remember Ronaldo scored one when he was here at Manchester United. They played against Arsenal. Similar goal to that. Great finish. And Bournemouth, they're all over the place. I mean, Manchester United just zipping the ball around and they're playing little give and goes. Pogba, a little turn around the corner. It's just super football. The opposition might be just making it that little bit easier for Manchester United. But this Bournemouth team, if you're asking me if any team are going to stay in that bottom three, well, this team are. There's no fight in them. Yes, they've showed it in a couple of occasions and got themselves back into the game, but I just don't see where the goals are going to come from. I can't see them keeping a clean sheet. They conceded 5. It could have actually been 6. They're all over the place. Absolutely shocking. Eddie Howe, I talked about his record with Adrian before we came on air. 9th, 16th, 12th, 14th. And it looks as if they're going to stay in that bottom 3 because the fixtures that they've got coming up, I don't see where they're going to get results from.
Loads of substitutions made. Off goes Stanislas, Lewis, Cook and Solanke for Bournemouth. On come Harry Wilson, Gosling and Billing. And Fred has replaced Nemanja Matic for Manchester United. Offside did indeed deny us that glorious build-up and goal from Marcus Rashford. He was a sleeve offside, I think. And so it remains Manchester United 5, Bournemouth 2, midway through the second half on TalkSport's Game Day. I mentioned Faker Others hosting our coverage of Wolves Arsenal, which is straight after this with Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce. We'll have team news from there in just a few moments. And then once that game is done, another exclusive TalkSport national commentary at 8, Chelsea-Watford with Alex Crook and Matt Holland at Stamford Bridge, before Adam Cattrall and Darren Bent then take your calls from 10 p.m. on the full-time phone-in here on TalkSport, the only place to be of a Saturday. Here's Dan Gosling straight into the action for Bournemouth, but he's dispossessed. Wan-Bissaka wins it back, and Manchester United then lose out, and away come Bournemouth. It's Josh King laying it off for Philip Billing. Billing plays it across to Harry Wilson, who scored a wonderful free kick here for Derby County at Old Trafford when he was with Frank Lampard's Rams last season in a League Cup tie. Here's Adam Smith giving it back to Wilson, who's forced back into the centre of the Manchester United half, gets into the centre of the half and finds Lerma. Lerma rolls it forward for Gosling. Gosling will find Wilson again, up to the left-hand corner of the box. Danjuma looks to turn away from Greenwood and Wan-Bissaka. Rico works it back to Lerma. There's a couple to aim at in the box, but it's being passed around the midpoint of the Manchester United half at the moment. It's with Lerma once more. Billings calling for it on this near side. Harry Wilson picks it up, just bypasses Bruno Fernandes. Everything's very compressed for Bournemouth at the moment. There's no real width for them to use, especially on this near side. They've had to go back into their own half, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, it's possession, but Manchester United say, OK, thank you very much.
And now suddenly Danjuma's in behind, but the flag goes up to deny him. He thought he'd scored earlier in the half when he was offside in that area of the field down the left-hand side of the box. You are listening to Manchester United 5, Bournemouth 2 on TalkSport with the next generation Nissan Duke. Together, let's move beyond. And the drinks break is just about to happen here at Old Trafford with that 5-2 advantage to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's men. That will give us an opportunity to find out what's happening in the TalkSport 2 commentary that's going on at the moment between Leicester City and Crystal Palace, and your commentary team, Joe Shannon and Perry Groves.
He's got to show a bit more imagination and change his shape where he goes 4-2-4, and plays Zaha wide on one side and Ayew wide on the other, and puts a centre forward up with Benteke, but he doesn't look like he's going to change his shape.
It's Leicester 1, Crystal Palace 0 with 20 minutes to go at the King Power Stadium under these cloudy skies, as we welcome listeners from TalkSport. Luka Milivojevic has just gone down for Crystal Palace, so the game is momentarily stopped, but Leicester took that lead early in the second half, and a lovely goal it was too. Perez and Tielemans combining down the left, the silky Tielemans with a lovely ball into the near post, and Kelechi Iheanacho getting in front of the goalkeeper to score what was only Leicester's third goal since the lockdown and since the resumption of football. Crystal Palace since then have tried to battle back, but Gary Cahill's header, their best effort, easily saved by Kasper Schmeichel, and it's still Leicester 1, Crystal Palace 0.
So that's the situation at the King Power. We've got team news coming in from our next TalkSport commentary. That's at Molineux. Wolves Arsenal is at 5:30. Sam Matterface has the lineups.
Well, Wolverhampton Wanderers, the formed team of the restart, make one alteration from the side that won away at Villa Park a week ago. Adama Traore brings his guile to the starting 11 that is yet to concede a goal post-restart at the expense of Diogo Jota, who slips to the bench. Arsenal have been slightly busier since the resumption. They have already played 2 more games than Wolves. They bring in 3 new faces, Cedric, Saka and Nketiah, all start. We're underway at 5:30.
Thank you, Sam. Bournemouth coming forward into the penalty area right-hand side. Harry Wilson's cross is intercepted by Fred, who will play a 1-2 to try and bring it away. He's managed to get there just ahead of Billing and finds Bruno Fernandes. 5-2 to Manchester United here on TalkSport. We've got 20 minutes to go at Old Trafford. And incidentally, that fact that Martial and Rashford have now got more than 10 home goals in a Premier League campaign. That's the first time that Manchester United have done that since the days of Ronaldo and Tevez back in 2007-8. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has found himself 2 players who we can rely on more than previous managers have had in the post-Sir Alex era.
There was a certain time, Dance, and I've not really said this too often, but you never really started to enjoy coming to home games at Manchester United because of the football that they were playing, the lack of confidence, the lack of quality. I don't think you can say that anymore.
Another goal at Griffin Park in the Championship. TalkSport Ian Abrahams.
And West Bromwich Albion, beware. Brentford 2 points behind them now. The goal has gone to Brentford. Brentford 3, Wigan 0. Brilliant team goal involving Josh De Silva, who really set it up and finished off by that man Ben Rama. Hat-trick for him this afternoon. 3 for Brentford, 3 points. Brentford 3, Wigan 0.
And West Brom play Hull tomorrow afternoon at 3. It's live on TalkSport 2. You can listen via the app that you can download for free for your smartphone to listen to TalkSport and TalkSport 2 wherever you go. 19 minutes to go at Old Trafford. Ian Dancer and Mickey Gray with you on game day, with Manchester United most definitely in the ascendancy. They had their hairy moments here this afternoon, but here they are, 5-2 up and passing the ball around with Fred looking for Martial inside the area. Brilliant slide rule pass to find him. It's missed out Rashford. Luke Shaw guides it to the edge of the area, and it's Martial with a drive that's deflected behind by Ake for a corner to United at the Stretford end. 5-2.
Shooting practice, possession, attack v defence, whatever you want to say. This is what it is now for Manchester United. They've got themselves that hefty lead. They're just trying to play around in that final third against Bournemouth. They're still trying to get everybody behind the ball, Bournemouth. They've made those changes. Harry Wilson's tried to get on the ball a little bit to make things happen, but it's the build-up plays just a little bit too slow for me. Dan Juno, I think he tried an opportunity, got in behind Manchester United offside.
Well, the corner deflects off King and through to Ramsdale. He didn't know much about that as it suddenly landed on his left shin and ballooned up in the air, but Ramsdale caught it under his crossbar.
Well, what do you say if you're Eddie Howe? No, because he's going to get to the end of this game. Is he going to say he thought that the effort was there for the players? Because for me it wasn't. And I keep going back to needing players on side who want to break through that brick wall and make things happen for your team. When the chips are down, can you try and keep a clean sheet? Well, 4 goals against Newcastle at home, 5 goals against Manchester United. That's 15 goals since they've come back from lockdown, Dance, conceded in 4 games. It's just not good enough, and you don't see where it's going to change. I know Callum Wilson's got to come back into the side. He might be the threat that they need up front, but is he going to be the game changer? Because they need too many points to stay in this division now.
A reminder of Bournemouth's run-in. Home to Tottenham and then home to Leicester before another trip to Manchester to go to the Etihad, home to Southampton in El Clasicost, or whatever they call it, and then away at Everton on the final day of the season. And remember, as things stand, Bournemouth are still a point behind Watford in the bottom 3, 27 points from 33 played, and Watford play later at Chelsea. It's live on TalkSport with Alex Crook and Matt Holland, your commentary team in West London. Daniel James, the speedster, about to come on for Manchester United. And let's not forget, in amongst all that, Chelsea have skin in that game as well, not just Watford, because at the moment Manchester United are in the top 4 at Chelsea's expense, Mickey.
Yeah, it's getting very tight at the top of the table, isn't it?
55 points to United, 54 to Chelsea, and Mason Greenwood won't get his hat-trick today. He's been taken off to allow Daniel James to come on, but let's salute again once more what this 18-year-old has brought to Manchester United in recent weeks, Mickey Gray.
Well, I mean, you talk about players making an impact. I mean, and rightly so. I think a lot of people have talked about Bruno Fernandes, and rightly so, because he has changed this season for Manchester United into Champions League contenders. But when a young man like that is given his opportunity, it's about taking that chance when it comes around. He's a goal scorer. He's not just that. As we talked about, the goal that they got chalked off for VAR, they are just an absolute... They're a joy to watch. And this young man, I said before, Dan, he probably saved Manchester United 75 million quid. That's how good he's been.
Well, Bournemouth are pushing forward and have won a corner away to our right-hand side that Diego Rico wants to take quickly. So Daniel James on. Had a brilliant start to the season, Daniel James. Had arrived from Swansea. Scored on his debut against Chelsea. Some excellent assist stats, but was playing an awful lot of games in a row and was feeling the pressure, I think, a little bit for a time. But
yeah, I think it was 3 and 3 he got, wasn't it,
yeah,
as well? So he was certainly found the back of the net. But I always thought that if Manchester United ever hit top gear, that he wasn't going to be a starter. But he played himself into the starting 11, and rightly so, with some very good performances. International player now as well. You look at their substitutes bench, it's healthy. There's competition for places. They've not had that for a long time, Manchester United.
It's 5-2 to Manchester United with 14 minutes to play at Old Trafford on game day, and a change being made. Adam Smith is unable to continue. I don't know whether he's pulled up with a slight knock, but Jack Stacey's been brought on to replace Adam Smith for Bournemouth. Stacey, of course, arrived from Luton Town on a 4-year deal last summer, so he's on in a similar position and right back, and he's straight into the action, receiving the ball 10 yards from the byline. Tries to swing a right-footed cross, and it's deflected away by Luke Shaw. Martial gets it on halfway, tries to nod it on for Rashford, but it's tidied up by Lloyd Kelly and back for Aaron Ramsdale. Well, at least they've done one thing, Bournemouth, this afternoon. They hadn't scored from open play in 5 hours 51 minutes before today, so just over 6 hours, but they got that goal. They've got 2, in fact, but the other one was from the penalty spot. But they are 5-2 down here. There's another goal that's gone in the TalkSport 2 commentary at the King Power Stadium. Let's hear how it went in with TalkSport 2's Joe Shannon.
Superb vision from the goalkeeper to pick out Jamie Vardy. The angle was tight. Oh, and he slipped the defender, and Barnes is in. Vardy with a tap in. Jamie Vardy, 100 Premier League goals. It's another milestone moment for Leicester City's main man. It's a nightmare for Crystal Palace at the back. Sacco slipped, was dispossessed, and Harvey Barnes squared it to Jamie Vardy, who tapped home from 6 yards out. A century up in the Premier League for Leicester's number 9.
There you go, Jamie Vardy making it 2-0 to Leicester City against Crystal Palace. That game continues with Joe and Perry Groves on TalkSport 2. Here on TalkSport, 13 minutes to go. Manchester United 5, Bournemouth 2, and it was very nearly 6 again, Mickey Gray. Another sweeping Manchester United move.
Crisp move, worked out again to that right hand side where Rashford finds himself. He's drifted over to the right, and James is on the left hand side. Puts another fantastic ball across the 6 yard area. James and Martial stretching into that 6 yard box, just couldn't get enough on.
Pogba finds Martial, trying to isolate Kelly at the edge of the area. Martial goes on, tries to drive, and it's blocked behind by Kelly for a corner kick. You're listening to Manchester United 5, Bournemouth 2 on TalkSport with Now TV. Don't forget, you can watch Wolves Arsenal and Chelsea Watford live today with a Now TV Sky Sports Pass from just £9.99. Search Now TV. 5-2 to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's men. They've got another corner at the Stretford end, and Bruno Fernandes looks the likeliest to take it. Odion Ighalo and Juan Mata will be on very shortly for Manchester United, just getting some final instructions down beneath us. Here's the corner kick from Bruno Fernandes, looped high to the back of the penalty area. It's cleared away, only half cleared by Bournemouth. Luke Shaw picks it up. He's got James in space down the left-hand side of the area, clips it to the far post. Rashford trying to keep it in play at the dead ball line, but just couldn't wrap his foot round it. It's a goal kick to Bournemouth, and here come the changes for Manchester United. And Marcus Rashford is being withdrawn to allow Odion Ighalo to come on for the Red Devils. Yet to start in the Premier League, of course. All his 5 goals have come in the cups, like the one he got at Norwich in the previous round. Manchester United, of course, now into the semi-final. So Rashford off and Ighalo on for the first change in this particular raft of substitutions. And Juan Mata's come on for Anthony Martial for the other change.
Changes that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can make. He's given some of his players, his fringe players, a little bit more game time. Ighalo done better than I thought, actually. Coming in at Manchester United, he gives them something a little bit different. He's not blessed with blister and pace, but he holds the ball up very well. You don't need a pace when you've got everything around you like they have done, Manchester United, but they've deserved to make those changes. Just been a super performance, Dance.
So Rashford and Martial both walking back round behind the goal and towards the bench, having both scored 20. Now Daniel James trying to burst through the centre, an important challenge from Lloyd Kelly. Otherwise the youngster was through on goal, and he's got pace to burn as Daniel James. Billing loses that to Fred on halfway. Fred, plenty of industry as he drives forward. Strong run from Fred, gets to the edge of the D, options left and right, just goes backwards to square to Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes clips the ball in, looking for Mata with a delightful chip, but Ramsdale got there first and clutched onto it. 5-2 United, 10 to play on TalkSport.
Amazing what a little bit of confidence does to your team. You've got players now in this Manchester United side who are not frightened to try a little dink over the area. You've got willing runners in Juan Mata, who's just came onto the field. We know he's a goal scorer when he gets opportunities, but they're just enjoying their football now. It's too easy for them. You're starting to get to the point in this game where you're feeling sorry for this back four of Bournemouth. They've soaked up as much pressure as they possibly could, and they've still conceded 5 goals, and it could have been a lot more.
So it's 5-2 to Manchester United here. Remember, Brighton won earlier today on game day in our first commentary at Norwich. A Trossard goal, the only one of the game. Leicester 2-0 up on Crystal Palace, as you've heard. Jamie Vardy getting his 100th goal. Wolves Arsenal to come at 5:30 with Sam and Stuart. Chelsea Watford at 8 to come on TalkSport. Also an exclusive national commentary with Alex and Matt. In the Championship, Leeds 3-1 up at Blackburn. Brentford 3-0 up on Wigan. West Brom know they've got to beat Hull tomorrow just to keep the others at bay. That's live on TalkSport 2. Reading 5-0 up at Luton. Stoke 3 up on Barnsley. And the other 3 Championship games are still goalless at Bristol, City, Fulham and Huddersfield. Manchester United in possession with Juan Mata. Finds Pogba in field, just over the halfway line. Diagonal ball, they're going to pick out
brilliant.
Luke Shaw. Picks him out amazingly. Shaw goes for goal from a tight angle, and Ramsdale claws it away. And Manchester United can't go 6-2 up as they wanted to, but what a pass from Pogba to Shaw.
He's probably the only player on the field who could have seen that pass. I mean, I saw the run from Luke Shaw, but I'm thinking, no, surely you're not going to try that. Oh boy, he did. What a pass. With his right foot, diagonal across the left-hand side. Luke Shaw, nice first touch. Again, I've got 4 ticks next to Ramsdale's name here. 4 good saves he's made in this game. It's 5 already, Dance.
You'd have got out your own half a bit more often as a left-back if you'd known the passes
that was
like that.
My game. I hate defending. But what a, if you've got somebody in midfield who can play passes like that, I wouldn't have played as a left-back. I'd have been a wing-back.
Manchester United are purring here this afternoon. Yes, they've had their slightly strange moments. They went 1-0 down, remember, very early in the piece, but it's now 5-2 and we've got 7 minutes of normal time to play on TalkSport, and they want more. Mata playing a 1-2 at the edge of there, a little wall pass with Bruno Fernandes, gives it back to Mata at the byline, trying to pull it back for Ighalo, and there's enough Bournemouth shirts there back to get it clear, but they were just playing round them for a moment there, Manchester United.
I'm getting dizzy. I'm getting dizzy watching this football. Mata's come onto the field. It's not taking him 5 or 10 minutes to get into the game. He's straight into the action. Lovely little give and go. It was played back to him with a lot of pace, great control, but again, they're just easily getting to that byline, Manchester United. It's just that final pass. You've got 2 or 3 players waiting in the area just to pop it into the back of the net. They've got enough goals to win this match, no doubt.
Fernandes trying to release Ighalo inside the area. Ighalo puts it wide. He actually wrestled for possession with Lloyd Kelly, got the better of him, but lifted his right-footed shot the wrong side of Ramsdale's right-hand post. It's a goal kick to Bournemouth and stays 5-2 to Manchester United.
Well, Lloyd Kelly, I mean, he's the right side of Ighalo. The ball gets played round to his left-hand side. He's got to use his body strength as a centre-half. Ighalo, we know he's strong. He's not the quickest player in this Manchester United team, but it's just that desire. He wants to win the ball more than Kelly does, gets on the other side of it, and when he does get himself into the area, you're waiting for the ball just to drop into the back of the net. Just gets his shot completely wrong.
That's Mickey Gray, former Blackburn, Leeds and Wolves defender, and Sunderland, I suppose, I'll mention that. Alongside me, Ian Danter, here at Old Trafford. Just over 5 minutes to go. And Manchester United sides of recent seasons, I don't think this is too controversial to say, would have declared at 5 and not gone for a 6th. This lot are going for a 6th and more.
I also think they probably would have declared it 2-1, Dance, with certain managers in charge, because that's the way they've set up. Get yourself in front and make it difficult for the opposition to break you down. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says, no, I've got too much talent on show. Let them just go and express themselves, which you want to see. These players have got the ability. You've just got to give them the playing field to go and prove to everybody how good they are.
Daniel James, left-hand side. It's just deflected behind for a corner kick to Manchester United. There's a goal in the Seven-side derby at Ashton Gate. TalkSport's Lawrence Mora.
Bristol City 0, Cardiff 1, 84 on the clock. Danny Ward off the bench to score for the visitors. Lovely through ball by Lee Tomlin. Left foot finish by Ward. What a big goal this could be for Cardiff in their playoff hunt. Bristol City 0, Cardiff 1.
Remember, after Derby's draw with Forest earlier, they were level with Cardiff on 61 points, but 64 points that would be for Neil Harris's men. Here's the corner for United from Fernandes, headed out by Nathan Ake. Shaw will retrieve it for Manchester United. Everybody was back in Bournemouth turquoise blue. Now Wan-Bissaka strokes the ball out to Fred on the far side of the field. He will keep it in play. Infield it goes from Wan-Bissaka and then Fred to Harry Maguire. 5-2 to Manchester United. 4 minutes to go on TalkSport Game Day. And don't forget, stay with us here for Wolves Arsenal. Brilliant game with European places up for grabs with Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce at 5:30. And then Alex Crook and Matt Holland at the bridge for Chelsea Watford later. And at the moment, Chelsea will start the night in 5th place. Well, we know they'll start the night in 5th place. There's no way Bournemouth are coming back to share the spoils here. And so Manchester United will be in the top 4 for the first time since September. The pressure's been off as they've been getting towards that area. If they stay in the top 4 tonight, then the pressure is to maintain it, Mickey Gray, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. That's when they start to feel a little bit more pressure.
Well, here's Ighalo picking the ball up and running at the Bournemouth defence, flicks it wide right to Wan-Bissaka. Early ball into the box is cleared away hurriedly by Ake, with Bruno Fernandes lurking behind him, and it's been put out of play for a Manchester United throw on the far side of the field. Seconds tick away, 3 minutes to go. Red card at Griffin Park. Which way's it gone, Ian Abrahams?
Wigan down to 10 men. They trail 3-0. Garner's just been sent off for a high tackle on Valencia. Really not Wigan's day. Really not Wigan's week. Brentford 3, Wigan 0.
Not at all, but the Bees march on with another terrific performance. That's going to be 6 unbeaten and just 2 points off West Brom, who play tomorrow against Hull. That's live on TalkSport 2, a commentary you can hear at 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Of course, we're bringing you commentaries tomorrow on TalkSport from the Premier League. We've got that game at high noon, have we not? Burnley against Sheffield United. Mark Saggers your host. That's a noon kick-off. Mark Wilson and Danny Mills will be at Turf Moor for that one, for the War of the Roses. Bournemouth looking for a third this afternoon, trying to reduce the goal difference, because I guess that's a factor we need to think about as well, Mickey Gray. They're 3 goals worse off this afternoon with this scoreline, and that's going to put them on a goal difference minus 27, with Villa minus 24, Watford minus 20, Norwich, we can forget about them, I guess, minus 36, but that is the worst goal difference of those in and around the bottom 5 or 6, Mickey.
And there's only Aston Villa who have conceded more goals this season now. 59 goals they've conceded. And when you look at Bournemouth, you look at their forward line of years gone by, you always thought they had a chance of getting themselves back into football matches, but 32 goals this season they've scored. And I think when you make the comparison of how many you've conceded and how many you've scored, Dance, you can see the problem right in front of you.
Bournemouth have a free kick. It's to the left of centre by the left-hand corner of the penalty area, and it's swung in by Diego Rico, and catching practice for David De Gea. 5-2 United on TalkSport Game Day.
Problem is, when you're at the bottom of the table, it doesn't matter how good of a player you are. You still need that time, and you've got to show a little bit of desire to try and see yourself through and stay in the Premier League. I mean, individually, Dan, how many players would you actually pick from this Bournemouth team who could stay in the Premier League next season if Bournemouth do get relegated?
Well, Ake's been a target apparently for some clubs like Manchester City. Remains to be seen what happens in the summer. Here's Juan Mata trying to twinkle toes his way through into the penalty area. Poor clearance from Lerma, drops for Ighalo, but he runs into Lloyd Kelly, and then Jack Stacey hurriedly clears it downfield for Bournemouth, asking Josh King to give chase, but Harry Maguire's about 10 yards ahead of him and can stroke it back to David De Gea. 30 seconds of normal time to go. Manchester United 5, Bournemouth 2. Pogba just shy of the halfway line. Feeds it left to Luke Shaw. James had made a scurrying run down the inside left channel, but then halts it because he knows he's not getting it from Shaw. Instead it goes infield to Fred. Now James gets it and plays it out to the far right hand side for Wan-Bissaka. We're going into 5 minutes of minimum stoppage time at the end of this Premier League encounter. Manchester United 5-2 up and in possession at the midway point of the Bournemouth half with Fred. Fred just rolls his foot on the ball and gives it to Pogba. Lovely first on ball for Pogba to James, who tried to give it back to Pogba, and James was fouled, got a shove in the back as he was giving the ball back to the Frenchman, and another great free kick opportunity for Manchester United. But before that, a goal at the Bet365. Jeff Peters.
It's Stoke 4, Barnsley 0. Tom Ince off the bench, left-footed, crashed it in off the crossbar. This has been an absolute thumping. Stoke 4, Barnsley 0.
Big return to form for the Potters just at the right time, but where does that leave the Tykes after their decent unbeaten run? Remember the full-time phone-in tonight from 10 o'clock with Adam Cattrall and Darren Bent. Whatever you want to say about whatever division, whatever team you support, Adam and Darren are there for you once we've brought you all our exclusive commentaries. Here at Old Trafford, 5-2 to United, and it's another free kick that Bruno Fernandes is lining up. Although Pogba's there too. In fact, Pogba takes over, and a brilliant save from Ramsdale to put it behind for a corner. Great save he's made, as Mickey Gray said, 5 or 6 terrific stops. And it's gone out for a Manchester United corner at 5-2.
He's had to be on top form, hasn't he, really, Aaron Ramsdale? So he can have no criticism. When you think about some of the goals that Manchester United have scored this afternoon, they've not really been down to him. Another super save there. Looked for all that Fernandes.
Bruno Fernandes trying to strike from distance, and again Ramsdale has to plunge to his left to palm it away, and then the flag goes up for offside against Juan Mata as he won the ball back. Fernandes just tried his luck from the left-hand corner of the penalty area. Well, it's 2 minutes into stoppage time nearly, and Manchester United showing no signs of settling for a 5-2 scoreline here on TalkSport.
Definitely not. A super free kick again from Paul Pogba. You know, trying to play it into the top left-hand corner there. Again, Aaron Ramsdale jumping across to his left-hand side, making a super save. If he had that little bit more experience, I'm sure you'd hear him more vocally having a go at his back four, but he's had to work so hard to keep this scoreline down to 5. Manchester United have been like a juggernaut in the second half. Once they conceded that second goal, it's been all about Man United possession, creating opportunities. I make that 16 chances on Bournemouth's goals, 7 on target, and pretty much 7 super saves from the goalkeeper.
We've got some live horse racing for you on the network coming up. The Epsom Derby is live on TalkSport 2 in just a few minutes' time. Here on TalkSport, we're about to bring you Wolves Arsenal from the Premier League. Adrian Durham's about to round up the afternoon around the country, but Bournemouth and Manchester United are still at it here at Old Trafford, and Manchester United 5-2 up have won the ball back, and you can see shoulders drooping again from those in those turquoise Bournemouth shirts as Pogba just casually strokes the ball across the line to Eric Bailly, who had that horror start to the second half when his handball led to a Josh King penalty. But since then, Mickey, Eric Bailly's had very, very little to do.
Yeah, absolutely not. He's in cruise control. He's enjoying his football.
Long ball over the top, trying to pick out Ighalo, trying to get away from Lloyd Kelly, but the ball skipped off the greasy surface. It's only just now in the last couple of minutes that the drizzle has stopped falling from the Manchester skies, but the ball skipped away from Ighalo and through to Ramsdale. As you mentioned with Ramsdale, it's been a terrific year from him. It's his breakthrough season in goal. He's played all but one of the Premier League games for Bournemouth.
You just look at a player like that, Dance, and why I say he's not very vocal with the experienced guys that he's got in front of him. Man United just on the attack again here, but if he was, does he kickstart his back four into gear and say, look, you're not giving me enough, I'm having to work too hard here as a goalkeeper?
Fred in possession for Manchester United, out to the right hand side, and Bruno Fernandes gets to the right hand corner of the box. He's teeing up Fred for a drive at the edge of the D, slips, gets back to his feet, tries the drive, and another brilliant save from Ramsdale. Wow. Another corner to Manchester United. Ramsdale keeping United at bay, single-handed at the moment. It's a corner kick to Manchester United, quickly to a third goal at the King Power in our TalkSport 2 commentary. Joe Shannon.
And Barnes has slid it through to Vardy, who's onside, into the area, angle tight, Jamie Vardy puts it past the goalkeeper. 2 for Jamie Vardy, 3 for Leicester City. It's a dream day for the home side.
So that's Jamie Vardy into his second century of goals. 3-0 to Leicester. Mata for Manchester United, swinging the ball in and headed over by Pogba. Felt he was caught as he went for the header, but the offside flag had gone up against him anyway, and Bournemouth will get themselves a free kick, and it is still incessant pressure on the Bournemouth goal. It stays 5-2 to United.
They're not giving up, Manchester United. I remember having a conversation with Ryan Giggs after he retired, and I came to Old Trafford on many occasions, found myself 2 or 3 goals down after about 60 minutes. And I said to him, why did you not try and go for 4, 5 and 6? He said, because we had midweek games on a Wednesday and a Saturday, and Alex Ferguson used to turn around and say, that'll do.
Full-time whistle has gone. It's finished. Manchester United 5, Bournemouth 2, and Manchester United, for a few hours at least, are a top 4 side once again. The first time they've got into those Champions League spots since September. And Bournemouth stay in the bottom 3 and have had another load of goals slammed past them this afternoon, but they had the lead through Stanislas on 15 minutes. Mason Greenwood got the first of 2 for the afternoon with a thumping left-footed effort just before the half hour. Rashford with a penalty made it 2-1 after a handball by Adam Smith in the area just before half-time. A delicious right-footed curler from Martial made it 3-1. Josh King got a penalty just after the restart to reduce the arrears and make it 3-2 with Bournemouth coming back. But then Greenwood turned in an even better effort with his right foot to beat Ramsdale to
Lee Cam, the ball coming to him inside the area from the right hand side, and he was just in the right place to squeeze it into the bottom right hand corner in the 95th minute of the game. Fulham 1, Birmingham 0.
Still playing there. We're going to go round the grounds for full times then. Let's go to Ewood Park. What happened there today? TalkSport's Don McGuinness.
Well, it's ended Blackburn Rovers 1, Leeds United 3. In the end, a job well done for Leeds, who edged that big step further towards the Premier League. Any playoff hopes that Rovers had, and there was real optimism just a fortnight ago, well, that has now well and truly gone. A third defeat in a row. Leeds got off to a flyer. Bamford through. He struck well that after 7 minutes. Rovers did endeavour to get back in it, but their best chances were gone when Gallagher put one wide, went through. Holtby hit a post. Leeds then took control. Bamford hit the post before Phillips, just shy of the half-time whistle, scored a blinder of a free kick just left of the day. After the break, though, Rovers did get a lifeline. Armstrong with a similar free kick in a similar position as well to put Rovers back in it, but again they were sloppy, and just a couple of minutes later, Click with a long range effort put a bit of distance between the two, and that's the way it ended. Leeds just knocking the ball around, substitutions killing the game, and Leeds saw it out quite comfortably. Full time at Ewood Park. Blackburn Rovers 1, Leeds United 3.
It's finished in the big one at Ashton Gate. TalkSport's Lawrence Mora.
Yeah, all over. Bristol City 0, Cardiff 1, and we had to wait to the 85th minute for the breakthrough, but Cardiff won't care a jot because they're now 3 points clear of the chasing pack of that playoff places. The match was tight and tetchy, few chances until the home team manager Lee Johnson opened it up by going 3 at the back with 15 to go. Instantly, they could have had the lead. Benkovic's header from a corner was the sort of chance you have to take. 5 minutes later, City were punished. Lee Tomlin slipping Danny Ward through the middle, and the substitute finished with a plomb from the edge of the area. Cardiff survived a late aerial bombardment and a goalmouth scramble. Neil Harris's team have taken 10 points out of 12 since the restart. They're in pole position for the playoffs. Lee Johnson surely can start planning for next season now. Bristol City 0, Cardiff 1.
It's finished at Griffin Park. Ian Abrahams.
Wigan nil. If a week's a long time in politics, then for Wigan they'll hope that this eternal week ends with them maybe going into a better future. For Brentford, their future could well be in the Premier League. Saïd Benrahma, the hero here with a hat-trick. His goals from the sublime to ridiculous. His sublime goal on 12 minutes, a lovely volley from 12 yards out after Marcondes headed back into the box. The ridiculous in the second half from way out on the left-hand side. Was it a cross or a shot? He'll say it was a shot. If so, it was unbelievably brilliant. The third goal wasn't bad either. De Silva and Norgard both involved before he fired home, and there was still time for Wigan to have Garner sent off for a bad challenge 10 minutes from time. Not a week they'll remember fondly in Wigan, but for Brentford, the Premier League might still be calling for them. Brentford 3, Wigan 0.
Fulham about to go fourth. Closing stages at Craven Cottage. TalkSport's Mike Bovell.
We are very nearly into the 99th minute of the match. Fulham 1, Birmingham 0. Fulham keeping their slim hopes of automatic promotion alive as the final whistle does go with the latest of winners, scored in the 95th minute by Josh Onuma on as a substitute. They have been pretty woeful for most of this match, Fulham, saving their best football for the last few minutes of the game. It wasn't much good, this game. Fans of both sides can be grateful they could spend the afternoon in the pub rather than sit through this one. Birmingham creating 2 decent chances in the first half within a couple of seconds of each other, hitting the woodwork twice through Bellingham and Bella early on, but Bellingham understandably distracted ahead of his move to Dortmund was replaced shortly after the break, and the Blues lost their spark after that. Fulham though had only been marginally better in the second half. It took them over an hour to get their first shot on target, but they kept going, mounting the pressure more and more as the game went on before finally somehow finding that winner. At Craven Cottage, it's finished. Fulham 1, Birmingham City 0.
Well, Fulham go above Nottingham Forest into fourth. Brentford third, 2 points behind West Brom, who play live on TalkSport 2 tomorrow against Hull. Leeds are 4 points clear at the top of the table. Let's focus on the bottom now. Let's get full time at the Bet365. TalkSport's Jeff Peters.
It's finished. Stoke 4, Barnsley 0. Stoke out of the bottom 3 after this convincing win. It's their first since restart. They flew out of the traps quickly, 2 up inside 10 minutes. Sam Vokes heading in a corner, and then Tyrese Campbell doubling the lead with a beautiful back heel. Campbell's second and Stokes third came before the break when he steered into the bottom corner. They sealed the deal late on when sub Tom Ince crashed one in off the bar. It's Barnsley's first defeat since restart. They were poor. They remain second bottom, 4 points from safety now, and their goal difference has taken a bit of a battering. Final score, Stoke 4, Barnsley 0.
And it's all finished at the John Smiths as well. TalkSport's Alan Biggs.
Wish it had finished earlier, to be honest, Adrian. Huddersfield 0, Preston 0. It's a long time since I've seen a game so devoid of, well, almost anything. It certainly deserved to be played behind closed doors, this one. The fans who would have been here can for once consider themselves thankful. If we'd had a goal, it would have come out of nothing because there was nothing for it to come out of. That's for the most part. Suddenly, in 5 minutes of stoppage time, Preston almost scored 3 times. 2 substitutes involved. Scott Sinclair, a really good chance. He put it wide. Then he was unlucky. He bent one just wide, and Sean Maguire fired into the side netting from a tight angle. Too little too late for the game, and everybody really, naturally, neither side really deserved to win it. As for the only positive, I'd say a better result for Huddersfield near the bottom than Preston, now even further off the top. Huddersfield 0, Preston 0.
Well, bottom of the table, Luton had been on an unbeaten run and went horribly wrong today at Kenilworth Road for them. Kate Partridge.
Yes, Luton 0, Reading 5, a demolition and 4 goals for Yaku Meite. Luton had the first chance of the game, James Collins heading against the woodwork, though that was all but their last. 16 minutes in, the Hatters failed to hold their line after Georgi Puskas put Meite through to slot home, and 2 minutes later, a routine cross from Gabe Osho was spilled by keeper Simon Sluga, and Meite smashed home his second. And 10 minutes before the break, he made it 3. Over Yajaria, crossed from the left, picked out Meite on the right of the box, where he fired beyond Sluga. Soon after the break, it was 4-0. A looping cross from the right wasn't cleared by Luton, and the ball fell to Puskas to bury from close range. And just after the hour, it was 5. Again, Luton allowed Meite to break free and fire home his 4th of the afternoon. All one way. Rock bottom Luton are now 5 points from safety with a goal difference of -32, while Reading are up to 13th, some pride salvaged after their Brentford mauling, and Meite gets the match ball. Luton 0, Reading 5.
So let's run down the results in the Premier League. Live on TalkSport earlier, it finished Norwich 0, Brighton 1. Leicester were 3-0 winners over Crystal Palace, much needed for them as well. Jamie Vardy hit not only his 100th Premier League goal, his 101st as well, to add to Kelechi Iheanacho's first. And here at Old Trafford, it finished Man United 5, Bournemouth 2. More on this game in a moment. Wolves Arsenal 5:30 live on TalkSport. That's coming up. Chelsea Watford at 8 is live on TalkSport. And the Premier League game tomorrow lunchtime starts at midday. Burnley Sheffield United again live on TalkSport. Not a lot has changed in the Premier League table. Leicester get another 3 points, so they're on 58 with 5 games left there. 4 points clear of Chelsea, who are in 5th. Man United slip into that top 4, as Dance was saying, for the first time since mid-September. They're a point ahead of Chelsea, of course, play tonight live on TalkSport. Down at the bottom, Norwich on 21, Bournemouth on 27. Their goal difference is now -27. Villa on 27 points as well. Then Watford on 28 and West Ham on 30. In the Championship, the results were Derby 1, Forest 1, Blackburn 1, Leeds 3, Brentford 3, Wigan 0, Bristol City 0, Cardiff 1, Fulham 1, Birmingham 0, Huddersfield 0, Preston 0, Luton 0, Reading 5, Stoke 4, Barnsley 0. So at the top of the table, Leeds are 4 points clear of West Brom, who play tomorrow live on TalkSport 2 against Hull at 3. Brentford are 2 points behind West Brom in 3rd. Fulham up to 4th with 70. Forest on 68. Cardiff on 64. Now 3 points ahead of Derby. Cardiff occupy that final playoff place, and Millwall, with that late winner at Charlton last night, they're on 59 points and not out of it yet. Down at the bottom, Luton on 40. Barnsley on 41. Middlesbrough in the bottom 3 again on 44. Hull on 45. Huddersfield on 46, got a point today. Charlton on 46, and Stoke, big win for them after they dropped into the bottom 3. They're on 46. Birmingham a further 3 points ahead. Time now for us to pick our man of the match with the Next Generation Nissan Juke.
Man of the match on TalkSport with the Next Generation Nissan Juke. Together, let's move beyond.
Well, Mickey Gray, it's going to be a tough one to pick. There were so many good performances, good team performance as well from Manchester United. But we've given you plenty of time, so no excuse. Who's it to be?
My new favourite, number 26, Mason Greenwood, Manchester United. Brilliant performance from a young man, 18 years old. He's my man of the match, Adrian, and I'm going to start this now. I want him in that England squad next year, 2021. He's gone to the Euros.
Would you have him in the team ahead of